Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today is a very special one because I have something important to tell you. So listen, as many of you know, I have a personal grudge against Yone. In a lot of my videos, I often bring up how overloaded and ridiculous he is to fight against. And you know what? I think I should come clean and tell you guys the truth. Yone is the best champion in the game. Yep, you heard it here first. He's the best champion in the game in terms of design, playstyle, balance, and everything you can think of. I'd go so far as to say he might be Riot's greatest release yet, and deserves a spot in League of Legends' Hall of Fame right next to Irelia, Akali, Zoe, Aphelios, Akshan, Fiora, Camille, Sumida, Riven, Yuumi, and all of the game's most finest individuals. I'm super excited to get into this video because it's something I've been holding in for many months, so without further ado, let's get into why Yone is the best, most indubitably spectacularly designed champion in this game. So for the past couple of years leading up to his debut, Riot has been on an absolute tear when it came to new releases. We've had Zoe, Kai'Sa, Pyke, Sylas, Yuumi, Qiyana, Aphelios, Sett, consistently pumping out 10 out of 10 champs. And just when you thought they couldn't outdo themselves, the immaculate genius that is Riot's 200 years of collective game design experience has graced us with their presence once again and released Yone. His introduction was not only sudden, but striking, so grand in fact that alongside him came the Spirit Blossom event and a beautiful cinematic showcasing him in full glory. Compared to Yone, Yasuo just looked like your typical hard-stuck plastic 7 player. He should have been honored just to receive a single frame of camera shot compared to this absolute Chad. I mean, if you think about it, anyone with 2 swords is infinitely better than 1 sword because that's how it works, right? The more weapons, the better. As many of you are aware, the meta has been progressively shifting away from boring, dull, one-dimensional champions to flashy characters with loads of features in their kit, and Yone is no exception to this, doing everything they can to stuff as much of the good shit within his arsenal as possible. So since there's a lot to take in, let me break down each ability to show you the full extent of his awesomeness. For starters, let's look at Way of the Hunter. He gains 2.5 times bonus crit chance from all sources, so while those pitiful ADC mains have to waste 5 item slots to get max crit, you can get 100% with just 2 items, Immortal Shield Bow and Infinity Edge. That means you require a lot less gold than marks into Power Spike faster, and all you do is lose 10% crit damage, a small price to pay for such a privilege. If that wasn't enough, Yone also does hybrid damage thanks to his red sword, which does partial magic damage. This is the best passive in the game hands down, 2.5 times bonus crit chance and hybrid damage for free. Not only do you do crazy damage, but only half the resistances are effective against you. Mortal Steel is where things get good. It's similar to Yasuo's Q in that it's a forward thrust, but on your third cast, instead of getting a lane tornado that no Yasuo player can land to save their life, Yone is the tornado. It's both a dash and a large AoE knockup. Best part is that you don't need minions or anything to get the dash off, unlike his worthless brother. So much more efficient, and it sets him up for easy combos. Now obviously, no modern day champion would be complete without a strong neutral game. Old assassins and skirmishers are terrible because they don't have one. Yone does. Spirit Cleave is a wide area slash in a cone in front of him that reaches up to 600 units, making it easy for him to harass you from a distance. Interestingly enough, it does percent maxed health hybrid damage, half physical and half magic, and increased damage against minions, so you can use this attack to harass your opponent in lane while wave clearing. One other thing is that this ability grants you a shield that increases in strength for each enemy champion hit. So in the late game, if you manage to strike all 5 members of the enemy team at once, Yone gains a shield for 360 base plus 360% of his bonus AD, so you don't have to worry about building defensive items. This thing gives you a huge amount of burst resistance in fights. And if you thought that was all, check this out. Spirit Cleave's cast time and cooldown reduction get faster by building attack speed, which you were gonna do anyway. You don't have to waste your precious gold to buy cooldown reduction items, both your Q and W get faster over time for free basically. It's insane, only a true masterpiece of a champion can have these kinds of benefits. And now we arrive at the pièce de résistance of his kit. Soul Unbound, by far the best designed ability in all of League. Number 1 right here. First, Yone detaches himself from his physical body and ignores unit collision while gaining ramping movement speed for up to 5 seconds. While detached, all damage you deal is stored on enemy champions, and when you snap back to your real body, you dish out that stored damage, which is equivalent to a portion of the damage you did in spirit form. So basically, Yone gets a Zed death mark for an EU, which obviously makes him so much better than Zed. What's even more amazing is that you can recast this to instantly cleanse him of any immobilizing effects during the casting animation. So that means if you time it correctly, you can completely dodge things like Malphite ultimate, Nautilus ult, Leona ult, and even things like Urgot's ultimate. The ability is just straight up a get out of jail free card when used correctly. It's such a wonderful skill. In lane, you can use it to trade with your opponent while they most likely don't want to retaliate against you, since once they do, all you have to do is press E again to blink back to safety, and with the bonus movement speed, no one can outrun you. They could not have designed a more spectacular ability than Soul Unbound. See, one of the things about Yasuo that really sucks is that his ultimate Last Breath, while powerful, requires setup to be used beforehand, making it a horribly designed ability. The best ones are the ones that do all the work for you at the press of a button, and Yone's Fate Seal does just that. On cast, it's a massive long-range wide area blink that deals hybrid damage and knocks all enemies towards its location, making it super easy for you to line up the rest of your kit since the enemy team is clustered together. You can also use this while in Soul Unbound, opening up the door for easy and destructive combos like 3rd Q, then chaining ultimate while they're knocked up before using W and slashing away at your opponents. God, this champion is the most perfect thing in existence. I should just bite off my tongue for saying he was a bad champion in the past. By this point, it should be blatantly obvious why he's the best champion in the game. His passive Q, W, E, and ultimate are better than any other of their kind, but in case you're still confused, let me elaborate further. When it comes to carry potential, Yone is literally the strongest pick for that. He's got persistent damage, burst, dueling pressure, teamfight pressure, 3 dashes, one of which lets him teleport back to his original spot at global range, 2 wide knockups that can combo into each other, which means he can also serve as his team's primary engage, hybrid damage, and tank shredding capabilities, which means it's almost impossible to itemize defensively against him, and he has built-in defensive tools to survive burst or engage. There's never a situation where picking Yone isn't a good idea. Normally, assassins aren't known for having very good DPS and AoE damage. If you think of champions like Rengar or Talon, they can only exert the full extent of their power on one target, so if you group out together, their pressure diminishes greatly. But Yone, on the other hand, can execute his burst rotation no matter if it's 1 enemy or 5. In fact, he'd actually prefer to have the entire enemy team clumped up together so he can 1v9 teamfights and get that sweet Reddit karma, which everyone knows is more valuable than LP. As for Skirmishers, low effective range and susceptibility to disengage are common weaknesses. Yone doesn't struggle with either since he has 2 long-range dashes and rushdown potential. He's essentially a diver with the DPS of a Skirmisher, the area coverage of a mage, and the burst damage of an assassin all in one champion. Why bother playing anyone else when you can play this guy? He needs no setup to get his combos going and is a manaless champion, which means he can stay out on the field forever. You don't have to do any of that tedious stuff like stacking up your passive on Irelia or fighting through minions like Yasuo. Yone is ready to go no matter what with his impeccably low cooldowns. Q goes down to 1.3 seconds, W goes down to 6, and E goes down to 10. It's essentially no downtime in between his attacks come mid-game, so you can mash your face on the keyboard and win. Moreover, since he has all this stuff in his kit, he's amazing to one-trick as you don't need to worry about your team compositions at all. Or hell, you don't need a team at all, you get to live out your anime fantasies through him by wiping out entire armies solo. It's every sweaty gamer's dream to be as cool as this guy. To give you an idea just how swag you are, take a look at this clip on screen. It's 38 minutes into the game, and as usual, his dumbass teammates got caught out and destroyed. They didn't even burn their ultimates. But who cares, you're Yone, you don't need a team. Look how masterfully he finesses their team, holy shit. It's like watching an artist at work here. This right here is proof that Yone is the best champion in the game. No one else can do this. One other reason for his absolute dominance over every other design is his build diversity. He has so many different combinations to choose from that can cater to whatever situation you're in. I mean, once you get Immortal Shield Bow, Berserker's Greaves, and Infinity Edge, you're basically full build. High damage, good lifesteal, max CDR on your Q and W, and a big shield to go along with your big shield. After that, you can build virtually whatever the hell you want and he can still 1v9 games all the same. Against magic damage, you can go Wit's End. Against high HP opponents, you can go Blade of the Ruined King. If you're gonna scrap for a long time, you can go Death's Dance to supplement your already insane survivability. You can go Mortal Reminder if the enemy team has a lot of sustain, which, by the way, any excess crit rate grants you bonus attack damage, so you don't have to worry about wasting gold on crit. It still helps you out regardless. Against high durability enemies, you can go Lord Dominic's, which also increases your damage against squishy targets, since by mid to late game, the 35% armor penetration is equivalent to 20 to 30 lethality. If there's a Malzahar or Ashe on the enemy team, you can pick up Mercsim, or if you want to become indestructible, you can itemize Bloodthirster and Spirit Visage, which both synergize off each other, as Visage increases both healing and shielding after the mythic items were introduced in Season 11. Additionally, with how perfectly his kit was designed, any 2 crit items can grant him max crit rate. If you feel like turbo 1v9 in games, you can go for a super aggressive Kraken Slayer and Infinity Edge combo, or if you want an easy 35% lifesteal, Immortal Shield Bow plus Bloodthirster will still give you 100% crit rate with the sustain. I've even seen people try lethality Yone. It's so free, you can't make this stuff up. The new mythic items were pretty much made for Yone. Name a champion with a stronger 2-item power spike who also has this much variety. There isn't any. Last but not least, Yone has the power of death on his side. He's already dead, right? So dying has almost no consequence for him. He can go 0-10, but still help out his team by landing a good dash knockup into an ultimate. There's a reason he has the infamous 10 death power spike. Sure, his early game is a little weak, but it's reassuring to know you're playing a champion who gets stronger as time goes on. That's another major weakness assassins and skirmishers have. If they fall behind early, they stay permanently behind for the rest of the game most of the time. Yone has so much built-in damage and area coverage that you can have 4 items while everyone has 6 and still outperform them with a perfect wombo combo. What other Slayer can do something like that? The enemy team can try as hard as they want, but you'll always remain a threat. Basically, Yone is hyper consistent. He's got all the tools you need to reach rank 1 challenger, which is why there are so many Yone players in high elo. You can have bronze level game sense and this guy makes up for the difference, and it will take thousands of games before you get bored of him with how flashy he is. Hands down the greatest design champion in all of League of Legends. Thanks for watching everyone. I hope this video helps you realize that your current main is complete garbage compared to the superior eminence that is Yone. He's the savior of this game. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you again soon in the next one. Take care. Wow, that was... man. Oh, let me tell you, it was really hard to say all of that with a straight face, not gonna lie. Happy April Fools to everyone who made it this far. I'm actually kind of worried that no matter how outlandish I make the video, some of my viewers will genuinely believe I'm being serious. Alright, whatever, it's the internet. No, don't worry, this is not a Yumi 2.0. The Yone mains don't have me trapped in their basement with a gun pointed to my head. I just thought, you know, since it's April 1st, and with my brand being synonymous with shitting on Yone, that, you know, it was bound to happen, come on. In all seriousness though, Yone is not as perfect of a champion as I exaggerate him to be. His kit is extremely overloaded, yes, and there's no shortage of horse manure in his design, but playing him well is in actuality really hard to do, because technically speaking, all of his attacks are skill shots, therefore he can miss all of them. Yasuo is in my opinion more consistent than Yone, primarily due to Windwall and Last Breath. Even if Yasuo's really far behind, he can still contribute to his team at the bare minimum, whereas the onus falls on Yone for execution. So I'm not saying he's an easy win button in every circumstance, but that said, he's still the most overloaded piece of garbage, and I'm gonna go rinse my mouth with a bar soap after this. Once again, happy April Fools everyone, this video is just all in good fun. If you enjoyed, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe. Consider following me on Twitter, joining my Discord server, and if this is the first video you're watching, please check out my actual series discussion videos after this one. But for now, thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon in the next one. Take care.
You never see it coming.